7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
This is Eat and Drink with Ali Hassan and Marco Timpano. The podcast where back of house Ali and front of house Marco talk food and drink. Heads up. These two spent decades in restaurants, so some mature content and language is bound to come up. Get ready for Eat and Drink. Forks up.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year! I thought you were going to sing Happy New Year in this style of...
my throat is raw from singing it too many times, yelling at my children. It's, how do you feel?
I feel
2019,
good.
we're in the future, man.
Oh, man.
We're in the future.
I feel good because I feel like our podcast in 2019 is going to be the podcast people are going to find and listen.
I think so. I
noticed,
agree with that.
You know,
normally I'd slag us off. I'd be self-deprecating. I don't think I need to be this time.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that. No, I think I'm just excited about the new year. I really am. So, yeah. And
how many pounds did you gain over the holidays? You stopped counting?
I think back in October for Canadian Thanksgiving, I was like, I'm just going to ride the holiday train, and I'm just gonna like get fat, and I don't care, and I'll worry about it in the new year.
I'm not sure if you are worrying about it in the new year. I'm worrying about it in the new year. I came here and I literally thought you would have here's a recipe for a kale smoothie. Because I'm done with booze. No, you have booze right here. What a maniac you are.
No, I've got to. I mean,
You're an animal.
I've got to for our listeners, right?
Yeah, it's called Eat and Drink. You can drink whatever you want. Sometimes it could be a healthy elixir of some kind. Just putting that out there.
You know what? That might happen. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next year.
See. I feel like you're still you still got your New Year's buzz. So you're like, let's keep this going.
It's still the holidays. Till the Epiphany, which is January 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the 7th. The morning the kids go off to school.
Yeah,
so
until then, I'm still in holiday mode.
Okay,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel. So, how was your New Year's? How was your Do you have resolutions? What do you do?
Resolutions are just a path to failure, typically, and then what happens is it just cements what a failure you are as a person, because you're like, well, I failed every time, and now I failed another time. So what I just do, and I've been doing this for a long time, on my birthday in September and on New Year's, what I do is I look at what my year was like.
Okay.
I spend a few hours.
Wow.
It's an exercise in gratitude for people who have helped my life come to where it is.
Sure.
And it's an exercise in it's kind of my checks and balances. Nice. I don't go to church. I don't go to mosque. Right. So my thing is just to be like, what did I do well? What did I not do well? What can I do better? Did I have to yell at my son when he threw that thing that he took out of the fridge?
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe try not to be a goddamn monster this
Fair
year.
enough.
These kind of things. For example, these are just off the top. These are not real.
I don't think they're a monster.
No, the kids may think so sometimes. But yeah,
that's
Papa
the kid's
gets
job.
Papa gets hungover sometimes. What are you going to do? But yeah, I just look at what can I do better and look at sort of goals. And
sure.
I've had some dark times, Marco. I don't know if I've explained some of that.
No, because you're such a optimistic, lighthearted, and I don't mean to diminish your intelligence by saying lighthearted, but I feel like I'm always the Debbie Downer. No offense to any Debbies out there.
Or Downers, huh?
I wonder that could come from a very perverse place, Debbie Downer. I didn't think of that,
Marco.
That's not what I meant by that, but anyways, I'm not one of. I tend to be more the curmudgeon, let's say.
Yeah.
On the podcast.
And in life, perhaps.
And in life, in some ways.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes I come here and you're like, it's hilarious. You're doing a juggling act with 15 different, you got highlighters, your ice is dropping, you're kicking stuff over, and you're like, putana! And, but you're still overall in a good mood. Sometimes those kind of things get me down where I'm like, God damn it, I'm such a klutz. Oh! And then, but I feel like you're like, it's life. This is me. This is who I am. This is what I got.
I love that I swear in Italian in front of you.
Yeah,
I realized I did that. Shit. Okay. Yeah.
All that to say, it's a new year.
This has been my resolution for the last few years. I tried to pick a resolution that would be attainable and something that would be good for me. And I try to floss every day from New Year's to the next New Year's.
That was 1 year.
I never succeeded. There was
Never
always
succeeded,
no.
okay.
I got till May, the end of May.
Yeah.
Every day, every day,
yeah,
every
yeah,
day,
yeah.
and then you forget a day, and then it becomes easier to forget a day.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't, right? You should floss every day,
Yeah.
right? So that's always my New Year's resolution is to floss every single day. I'll see how far I can get this year.
That is the one every year. You just repeat that one.
Yeah, because it's attainable, even though I've never attained it. Because inevitably you forget, or you're too tired, or something happens that you don't.
It's a tough one because it's like, how do you continue to motivate yourself? Because you're like, is this even helping me? You can't see the benefits. So I think what you need to do is set up an appointment with the dentist in like April.
Sure.
And then they presumably they'll say to you, man, your teeth look fantastic.
Right.
And you'll be like, damn, this feels good. And then that'll keep you going through the summer, set up another one in September. Because when you can't see the benefits, how do you continue to motivate yourself? I had a friend, I'm going to tell you a story about this, a buddy of mine, one of my really, really good friends. I won't
Ken?
name him because not Ken this time. I won't name him because he might be embarrassed by this, but he had a disgusting toenail.
Oh, no.
His father had the same toenail. It was like a dark-skinned
It ran in the family?
yeah, and when I
Okay.
say a toenail, I'm talking about all his toenails. But they were a mess. They were like dark and hardened and like kind of a brown. It was very unappealing to look at. He rarely wore flip-flops because we'd mock him mercilessly when we see it.
How kind of
Anyway,
you.
the doctor says, one year he goes, again, New Year's resolution, he goes, I'm getting rid of this. I don't care what it takes. Doc, fix this.
Right.
He goes, well, there's a pill you can take.
Oh.
You take it, whatever it is, once a day, blah, blah, blah. Or there is a kind of a nail polish that you put on your toenails.
Interesting.
The pill you got to take for 30 days, and you should see it start to work. The nail polish, 6 months.
Ooh. Sophie's choice
the
here.
pills. He goes, the pills,
The
obviously
pills,
the pills. Starts taking the pills. Within 1 week, he does not feel right. His brain doesn't
Right.
feel right. His stomach doesn't feel right. Nothing feels good. He's not himself. He's not performing well at work as well as they're very strong.
Right.
Give me the nail polish.
Okay.
Starts applying nail polish. One of the least manly things you can do. And he's a manly man.
Right, sure.
And he starts applying this polish every day. He went from January
Yes.
to April without seeing any benefit.
Okay.
And he still did it every
And he
single
persisted,
day. Persisted and persisted
Yeah.
and persisted. And finally, one day,
Okay.
mid-April, says to his wife, do you see a difference? It feels like it's getting a little lighter. She's like, I'm not sure. He was like, I think
Right.
it is. And that little glimmer of hope kept him going. And then we go on vacation 7 months later
Right.
together. And I'm like, what's different about your toes?
Right.
They look. He goes, dude, don't you remember?
Right.
My horrible toes?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah. And he tells me this story, and it's a story about persistence like I've never heard, and I just love it.
I feel like you told me a parable from the Bible. Yeah. It's great.
It made me so happy that this
That's
guy would
wonderful.
persist. How do you do something for 4 months with seeing no benefit?
Listen.
And it's like this emasculating exercise, and at some point...
Emasculating to you.
Sure.
Right. Listen.
I've worn nail polish a number of times.
Why
Do
not?
I want to do it every single day with no benefit?
Right.
I wear it because we're having fun. It's a party.
Sure,
Papa's
sure.
got pink nail polish
Yeah.
on. Or Ali's wearing black nail polish to go with his Ozzy Osbourne costume.
Sure,
Whatever
sure,
it
sure,
was,
sure.
it made sense. It didn't make sense to me. 4 months of nothing.
Wow.
And then finally, anyway, for 2019, my friends, persist in all that you do. Persist.
I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to get to the cocktail.
Hey, how about
all right?
that?
I love it. It was a nice dramatic setup. All right, so
I'm too much this year. I'm too much.
No,
Over
you're
the top.
just the right amount. You're just the right amount of Ali. All right, so here's what I came up with. So, everybody thinks of New Year's. Champagne is the thing everybody thinks of. Champagne, champagne, champagne. It's classic. It goes with New Year's, etc. Martinis.
FYI.
Okay.
I can't drink champagne.
You can't?
I mean, I can. It makes me sick.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I vomited once. I was like 25 years old or something. We had 100 boozes.
Yep.
And the last booze was the champagne. That's the one that,
Yeah, of
I
course.
remember. And my brain has just socked that away right beside Southern Comfort.
For me, it's peach schnapps. I don't
Is
ever
that
need to see peach schnapps.
fantastic?
Yeah.
So let's make a pact here on Eat and Drink with 2019. Let us not see peach schnapps or Southern Comfort in our midst.
Oh, I can't agree to that.
You want-
No, because Southern Comfort is such a great thing to put in cocktails.
You're a son of a
I'll try
bitch.
not to. I'll try
You're
not
a
to.
Son of a bitch
I
is
can't
what you are.
guarantee for
Unbelievable.
52 weeks, 52
All right.
episodes.
You
Okay.
know what? I'm making, what's the thing? Passion fruit. I'm bringing passion fruit
Then
on
I'll
the show
die,
tomorrow.
though. That's the difference.
Oh, it's killing. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Well, maybe I won't die, but I'll be swollen for a few
It's all right,
days.
fine,
I'm
I
allergic.
won't. Fine.
All right. So, this is what to do if you've got some leftover champagne, sparkling wine, Prosecco, whatever you call it. This is a classic. I don't even know if I can call it a cocktail. I am opening up sugar cubes right now. That's that sound you hear. And based on that, those who know will know what I'm making. I'm making the champagne cocktail. Easiest thing to make. I still don't think we're going to like it because you and I don't like sparkling wines.
Yeah.
But we're going to do this for our listeners.
Yeah, we do this for you. We suffer for our art. This bag of you just opened a box of sugar cubes. All I can think of is like an old 1978 union meeting, you know? It's like they got the creamer in powder form, the coffee's there, and then these sugars. But anyway, let's try to make a classy drink here.
Okay, so it's very simple. Have you ever made a champagne cocktail?
No.
So 3 things you need. Sugar cubes.
Yes.
Bitters.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
What kind of bitters do
this
we
one
have?
here is not the classic bitter that you would use for a champagne cocktail. It would be Angostura bitters.
Yeah.
I don't have that. So I decided to just use...
What kind of bartender doesn't... Okay, it's the holidays. You used a lot of your stuff. Okay,
rhubarb. I'm just using rhubarb bitters. Okay. But really, you could use any bitter you want.
I have an orange bitters at home.
You soak the... see, the reason Angostura bitters are nice in this is that you can see that it taints the
sugar with a different color immediately, right? Where the rhubarb is the same color as the sugar.
So a few drops, soak your sugar cube. Now here's the thing. You could do this with just regular sugar, I think. The recipe calls for a sugar cube, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get the sugar cube because I think it's only fair that you have it with a sugar cube.
Is there a sexiness about it? Is there something
I think they've been doing this for years and years and years, and so this is the tradition, and this is what happens. Because, like you said, the sugar cube isn't really used much these days, right? So
Persians and their tea, that's all I can think about. Otherwise, not really.
I don't know. All right. So anyways, that's what it is. Now I feel bad that it's not colored, the sugar cube. I'm going to open the champagne live on the air.
Live on air. Okay.
Live on air. Oh, you know it's a good bottle when it's...
This is very funny. The top of the bottle. Okay, let me just take a picture of the top of the bottle. The top of the bottle had a knob-like shape, as if to suggest underneath it was a big fat cork. However, these criminals, it's just a screw. It's just a screw cap. Okay.
Oh man!
All right, here we go.
But you heard my reaction live. So, because it's not. Look, I'm going to be honest. Because we don't like it, I didn't splurge and get a good bottle of Prosecco.
How dare you treat me like this?
So the beautiful sounds of corpus.
Really milking that sound, too.
Okay. No, you know what? I was like, I don't necessarily think you have to spend great amounts to have decent cocktails. That's my personal philosophy. Now, what the sugar cube does do, and what you're seeing right there, is it causes the sparkling wine to really fizz. So, and if you remember the movie Moonstruck.
Sure.
Cher, yeah. Nicolas Cage. I think when she gets engaged, the dad, played by, was it Gardenia? I can't remember his name now. Puts sugar cubes into the champagne to make it special.
Okay.
And fuzz. All right, buddy.
This is it, eh? This is the entire thing?
That's everything.
Okay. All right.
See if we like it. He's drinking. I'll let him drink, and then I'll take a drink.
Okay.
Not for me.
No.
Not for me.
Okay, yeah. I mean...
I feel like for me it would need at least 3 cubes of sugar.
Let that baby fizz.
And just and a ton more of this for it to be...
bottle of bitters.
Yeah, palatable. Okay. It's not my thing. But listen, some people love it. And if you have guests over and they come after New Year's and you have champagne left over, you say, why don't I make you a champagne cocktail?
Yeah.
So easy.
Right.
Let's see if I like this better.
So... I mean, there you have it, folks. 2019, we're going to be more honest. Do you like it more?
No, I don't, actually.
Okay, he just wasted a bunch of sugar cubes and some bitters.
I just don't like it. But I use these fancy glasses.
I love the glasses.
These are like antiques that my wife
let me
had,
take a picture of these glasses here. This is important. I want people to see this right here. How much of you do you want in here? There you go.
Not much.
These are great. These are great. With the sugar box in the background. Tell me what that sugar box makes you think of, if you got a chance. But I think of a union meeting. I don't know why. I've never been in a union meeting.
No? Have you ever been part of a union?
I have. I continue to be at the union.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was we were once trying to start a union.
Oh.
And I'll talk about them because it's Future Shop and it's now defunct. It was like a Best Buy Circuit City type of place. And we were starting to talk about it, but they had gone further in Quebec City and already started one, and the store just closed down.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like,
well, there you go.
Done.
Okay.
You're done.
Are we ready for the next segment, which
Let's
is the
do
food?
it.
All right,
Shall
let's
we
do
move
it.
on? I've got all my parables out. You and I have both had an honest moment about this drink.
No, yeah, like it's not. I don't think there's never going to be a.
I do like Prosecco.
You do.
I do like Prosecco. It's the champagne in particular that I don't like.
Oh, so you like Prosecco? I thought you didn't like Prosecco. I would have made this with Prosecco.
I'm okay with. No, it doesn't matter. You don't have to think about me, man. This is not.
Okay, well, at least I know that now.
Yeah,
I know, and I'll sub in all Prosecco for all sparkling wine cocktails so that you'll enjoy it a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, that'll be
great.
that'll be my thing for you.
Moving on.
Moving on out. You know what I forgot to mention? This is our second episode of 2018 because our mini episode aired on the 1st.
Oh my God! Technically, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it?
Well, I want to get reactions from our first mini episode.
Yeah. If you want passion
Yes.
from Marco and Ali, you'll always get it.
Yeah.
But the mini episodes, you start talking to us about service or children in restaurants or things like this. It's like we're on full blast for those. So tell us what you think about Full Blast Marco and Full Blast Ali.
And I'll be spilling tea about celebrities I've served and how horrible some were and how great others were.
Which is different from how you're typically spilling other things. Here, let me just take a little picture of this.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me get that out of your way.
Yeah. This is. Am I too much with the pictures?
No, this is great.
Okay.
It's imperative that people know exactly what we're going to eat.
These are beautiful plates, by the way.
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
All right.
So
now
the thing about these plates...
Yes, tell me.
When we registered for our China, we're like, we don't need China. How often do people eat on China? Let's get our everyday plates and just get China for everyday plates. And that's what it is. This is the China that we eat on every day.
This is China.
Yeah, this is China. China's just fancy plates. So we're just going to get ones that we can eat on, and too bad for the world.
Okay. Well, speaking of the world and how much I care for it, I thought you were obviously still going to bring in booze because you got to be you. But I thought, let me think about, the typical mind when the new year starts, you may not be developing resolutions, but most people are like, I got to calm down.
Sure.
That was insanity.
Yeah.
That was goddamn madness. The few exceptions might be people who work in service industry. Like when I was a caterer, I was doing very little partying on New Year's. I was serving people.
Right.
And my big treat was a couple of Heinekens at like 2 a.m. after I've cleaned up and all that. So maybe I didn't have a great night. But most people are going to excess all the way up to, and in fact, hospital rooms. I know this because I brought my dad to hospital rooms many times right around New Year's.
Wow.
And in his later years, in his final years, it was starting to become a regular thing.
Right, okay.
And the nurses would be like, this is very common.
Wow.
Because of the excess and the no exercise, and everybody's routines are messed. So, with all that in mind, I said, let me start thinking about something. Some people want to up their vegetable intake. Some people want to cut back on their meat. Some people want more nutritious food. Boom!
Wow.
Enter stage right, the spaghetti squash.
Wow.
It is all those things, my friends.
I'm going to eat some while
I
you
think
continue to speak.
the whole time you were listening to me so intently, and I appreciate it so much.
It's great.
So here's what this is. Now, there is some meat in it. I put some ground meat, which I've made for you before, called keema.
Good old
I
keema.
put some good old keema in there. But really, all we did, we split open the squash.
Right.
We cleaned out the center. A lot of people will save those seeds and roast them like
pumpkin
seeds. We did not do that. We did not have the time to do that. But we cleaned it out. Open face, drizzle olive oil, salt, pepper, boom, into the oven. Wow. And you just roast this thing. That's it. You just bake it. Now, you probably can microwave, you can do all kinds of crap, but this is the quintessential way. And then when you take a fork and you sort of scrape along the cooked squash, you understand why it's called a spaghetti squash.
Right.
Before that, you may not fully
understand. So you scrape after it's cooked?
After it's cooked.
Okay.
Right. And then you probably don't have to. If you have a strong enough fork, you can maybe shred it beforehand, but I don't think that's necessary. That's a lot of work, a lot of pain in your wrists for no reason. It's very easy to do once it's cooked.
This is also great for people who are on a budget. Let's say we got students listening.
Sure.
And you know how there's often the lament that it's like, it's hard to eat healthy when you don't have the money to spend on it. Especially after the holidays where people have spent more than perhaps they should have. And they're like, okay, I need to be more conservative. I need to cut corners. I can't be buying the foie gras that I'm used to around the holidays. What do I do? But I want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
How much is a spaghetti squash?
Anywhere from, the size is different. They're not all, but anywhere from $2 to $5, $6, $7.
Sure.
If you get a large organic
All right,
one.
so let's say a venti cappuccino or a latte at Starbucks. The equivalent to that is going to be the highest end you're going to pay for.
That's 4 meals for one person, right? For one person, 4, 5 meals maybe. If you're having it as a side, if you're having it as a main. So what I did here, scrape the squash out. While it was still warm, added literally a teaspoon per portion. We're having small portions here. So maybe let's say there's a tablespoon of quinoa, which is seasoned ground beef in here.
Yes.
And then this is cilantro.
Oh, cilantro, of course.
Finely chopped cilantro. And a little bit more salt than I put when I first roasted it. I used black salt. And then lime juice, just fresh lemon. It's very, very simple. There's really not a lot going on, and yet there really is.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Lemon lights this thing right up. And so let me just tell you a little bit about...
Tell me.
Thrown out the word nutritious, but in fact, folic acid, potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, maybe not magnesium, I just made that one.
No.
Beta carotene.
Sure, of course, the color.
And low in calories, right? So we were talking about cutting corners and all that, and then your health also. It's great. And if you ever want to grow spaghetti squash, if you live in a climate where you're considering that, incredibly easy to grow.
Yeah.
Man, we could save so much money if we weren't in Canada, for God's sake.
Well, I want to say this, too. There's something beautiful about the squash because it is a winter vegetable. It's a wonderful winter vegetable. It's very versatile. You could make this with tomato sauce, too. I've had it with tomato sauce. What's nice about it, too, is that whatever you put with it is really going to enhance the flavor. That's one of the things I love to talk about. So if you make it picante, spicy, it's going to really work well with that. If you're going to make it a little bit more on the tart side or use things that are a little bit more like you've used here, lemon juice, cilantro, you've got those flavors going on. It pairs well with meat. It's a great vegetarian option. The squash, I can't say enough good things about the squash.
Right. And in fact, you touched on something that I wanted to address as well, which is that it only resembles a spaghetti in look. If you're looking for hey, this is going to taste exactly like spaghetti, you're going to set yourself up for disappointment, right? It's that classic thing I've talked to you about before when vegans say this tastes just like a burger. Don't do that. You're only harming yourself. If you said it's a patty, people might eat it more and be like, oh, this is a good patty. I have nothing else to compare it to, and I'm very happy about this. And another thing I love to do is stuff squash.
Oh.
Right? So as you're roasting it, some point in there you can, early on or halfway through, depending on what you're using, stuff some rice and meat in there. You can stuff tomatoes in there. I've seen people stuff it with all kinds of things and then add a couple of eggs to bake on the top. So it really is incredibly versatile, and it's a vehicle for other food. And don't sleep on the squash. Don't sleep on the spaghettis. This thing is unbelievable.
This is the spaghetti squash. I love squash. In particular, I love a butternut squash soup. Is heaven.
Yeah.
Can you make soup with this?
I haven't. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I don't see any reason. I think people aren't inclined to because the texture of it is part of what makes it lovely.
Right.
So then once you start
blitzing
it, that's gone.
Yeah, you've kind of wrecked the beauty of this particular squash, which is that it is stringy and that it falls apart and has a resemblance of string or spaghetti.
Yeah. Pesto. Toss this thing in pesto.
Oh,
We're off
my
to the
God.
races.
Yeah, it's so versatile. It pairs well with sour creams and it works so well with different, the gamut.
Yeah.
Really does.
And I think as we start in on 2019, you'll probably be turning your nose up on this thing in a couple of months. Sure. But right now,
it's the perfect.
It's the perfect way to bring in the new year. And if you're like, I don't care to do that, I want to party all the time, then you know what? Stuff it with beef and a bunch of cheese and tomatoes and make a spaghetti squash casserole that would also be to die for.
And what's nice about this is it can be used in place of starches like pastas and rice and whatnot. This is a great accoutrement, if you want, or the side dish. Even, and work with me here, spaghetti squash, butter, salt, maybe if you want to go crazy, drizzle of olive oil. side dish to whatever you're having.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. The only thing I would add to that is a little chili oil or lemon juice, just to, just punch it up a little bit.
Fair enough.
But you're right. You don't even need those things.
No,
really.
if all you had was the squash and butter, you could make it work.
Butter.
Or ghee.
We got to do a butter episode.
Oh, I love butter.
Butter. So much it does for us. What has butter not done for us, for the love of God?
Well,
here we sit like fat cats and ingrates.
Spaghetti squash is one place where you and I agree.
Yes. Why do we not agree sometimes?
Sometimes you make fun of me. I feel bad. I go in the corner. I cry for a bit. Then we come back for what's this work.
No, I like it. Our passions coincided today. It did feel different. It did
felt a little bit different. Once again, I just want to mention to our listeners, because it's the new year, rate, review, and subscribe. And if you want to contact us and tell us what I want to see an episode about this food item, or I want to see this cocktail, it's easy to remember. Podcast, eat, drink, at the @ Gmail.
Marco, I should have said this off the top. I forgot about this. We're talking about resolutions. There are probably people whose resolutions are, I want to listen to more podcasts this year. Right? I've done that, where I'm like, I've done exactly that. And then, it also, you want to sometimes listen to ones that help you develop a skill and something like that. That is us.
Yeah.
That's us.
And
we're part of people's resolutions. I didn't even think to say that.
So great. Thank you. We're going to have some podcasters on our podcast in the new year, too.
This is the year, folks.
We're going to have special episodes. That's going to come to you as well. But now, without further ado, guess what I'm about to do? I'm going to go dark.
You're going to take something in your mouth.
Yeah, well, that's terrible.
No, you're the one. What?
No, I was saying I'm putting on blindfolds on.
Yeah, of course,
you're the one who's suggesting that.
But you're also doing the other thing. It's just not as erotic as it sounds.
What's in Marco's mouth? That's right. What's in Marco's mouth? It's nothing dirty. Will he guess it? Will he mess it? Let's find out. What's in Marco's mouth?
Oh, it's what? I got sparkling water all over my mask, so it smells like
Spumante?
Spumante all over my.
Oh gosh.
My face is wet, and it smells like something I hate. Oh, okay.
We should really record that. Actually,
It's
hilarious.
recording. It's recording.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's totally
my
recording.
God, that's punishment that I didn't wish upon you. I feel like what's in Marco's mouth is punishment enough.
Yeah.
But it sucks to be you. Can we?
Yeah,
just,
we even both looked
say
at
that?
we looked at the floor and we're like, oh, there's some water on the floor. I must have spilled some water. No,
We wish it was water.
Ugh,
We wish it
okay.
was water. Okay, are you ready for this, my friend? Okay,
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
This can go in your hand.
Okay, great.
I feel like it's too easy when it goes in your hand. But anyway, here you are. It's in your hand.
Okay. This feels like a leaf. It feels like a leaf of some sort. Okay. Oh, this is great. This has it's a leaf. It has a spice to it. Like it has a. Okay, it's not anything like those bullshit leaves. Like it's not like it's not like an iceberg.
Leaves.
It's not an iceberg. It's not a Boston. It's not a romaine. It has flavor to it. It has a pepper feel to it. It has a bit of a medicinal pep to it. I'm not going to say medicinal flavor, but it has an herbal flavor. You could flavor things with it. It almost tastes like something you would make a liquor out of, or like that kind of thing. Can I have another piece?
You can.
Okay.
What's in Marco's mouth?
Are you going to feed me or put it in my hand?
Right in your hand again,
Okay.
bud.
Okay. Now it has a bit of a. It has whatever you've given me has a little tiny bit of ribness to it.
I just want to add that Marco is doing basically a chipmunk impersonation the way he's eating it, and it's,
like
I think that's why I like it.
Okay, so to me, it's interesting because it has flavors of licorice to me. That's the strongest flavor I have. So that's giving me the feeling that it's anise or as we would say in Italian, finocchio. But you haven't given me the rib or the actual like hearty part of it. You've given me the leaves of the anise, whatever you would call it, the fucking.
All right, here's the rib, you goddamn whiner.
Yeah,
Huh?
so,
Take it.
yeah.
Then.
So
Take
it has to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. Finocchio or anise. in English, I guess.
I'm not sure if you're supposed to eat that.
What, that part?
Yeah.
No, but you're supposed to eat the bottom part. Like, what fucking part are you... Okay, did I get it right? Can I take my blindfold off?
What did you say? Call it. What are you calling it?
I'm calling it...
Finocchio? You're calling it...
In Italian, it's Finocchio, but I'm going to say...
Finocchio is fennel.
Fennel. Yeah, that's what... Yeah, fennel. Fennel
You're gonna
is...
say fennel?
Yeah,
Final
fennel.
answer?
Fennel is totally my final answer.
Incorrect, my love. It's Thai basil. If you have ever had pho, Vietnamese pho, this is often an accompaniment. I use this in a lot of my curries. My absolute favorite herb. And I loved your excitement for it.
Oh, you killed me here.
I did. And then you ate the stem of the herb. I was like, that might be bitter. I don't know. I've never eaten
It
the
was
stem.
a bit bitter, but at that point I was convinced that it was fennel. How did this happen?
Man, I started 2019 light. This was light. By March, we're into lamb brains cooked in sheep's bladder. I don't know what you're doing here, but we started it
I feel like I got punched in the throat now. Like, I feel like I really messed up.
You know what I didn't do, and I was going to do it? It's because I've seen you do this with basil. You've laid it in your hand.
If you would have done that, I would have known it was
exactly.
basil.
So I couldn't do it, but I really wanted to light the flavor up a little bit so you could really... Yeah.
I feel like a stooge. I really feel like a stooge. I really was convinced. I knew immediately because I could taste the fennel flavor.
And I know why. I can see how that would happen. You're blindfolded, but I've taken away one of your senses.
And I'm wet from spumante on my mask.
So
no, I can't use that as the excuse, though, because that's a pretty bullshit excuse. But, okay, so you use that in your pho? What else do you use?
I use that in pho. I use that, again, I mentioned the rice, so we were talking about mango on a different episode.
Last week's episode.
And I had mentioned to you, I make rice paper spring rolls.
Yeah.
With sometimes mango and peppers and, maybe like ground beef or
Sure.
pork or whatever you put in there. Thai basil is so great.
Oh,
in there.
man.
So fresh and such, as you said, this peppery, vibrant taste inside these rice paper wrappers. So that's great as a garnish on salad, but always an edible garnish. This is not one you want to move out of the way. So you want to have it there. In soups, it's amazing, especially Asian soups.
Sure.
And then a garnish on curries. Let's say I just make an eggplant and coconut curry, maybe an eggplant chicken coconut curry, let's say, is more common for me.
Sure.
And just throw a bunch of this in at the end.
Oh, man. See, I tend to eat more of the Italian basil, so the Genovese, right?
Of course.
So to me, that has its flavor, and that's what I associate with basil, right? So this has a more complex flavor. Like this has a profile that's very different because I was describing it, and it was licorice, but it also had a pepperiness to it that fennel doesn't have. And what threw me off was I figured you gave me the top leaves of it, right?
Yeah.
And not a rib of it. And so I was like,
What can we do, buddy? What can we do? This
good
is it.
stuff.
And,
Hey, listen, that's a great lesson to me. I'll never forget that that's the flavor of that.
Sure. And I wonder if there's drinks. Drinks as I think about the basil that you put, basil syrup. I wonder if there's got to be mixologists out there experimenting with this stuff.
You could
drinks.
certainly use that in drinks.
Yeah.
You could. So last week I made a cranberry sour. You could make a cranberry cocktail and use that with the cranberry, because think about the cranberry, how tart it is.
Yeah.
You add that to the cranberry, the color alone looks beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got this beautiful flavor profile from the tart to the peppery and fennelly or the licorice type flavor. You're hitting flavor, and add a bourbon with that, whiskey.
Okay.
Out of control, my friend. Out of control.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Have that happen. All right. Don't sleep on the Thai basil, my friend. Sold at Vietnamese shops, Thai shops, a lot of different Asian places. Not South Asian as much, but East Asian places.
Sure.
Chinese grocers will often have it, and very, very versatile.
And
soups.
If you've had pho, you've had this, because they always serve this in plentitude,
That's right.
and I love that.
Right. Comes lying on a bed of bean sprouts, and here it is.
I love how much of that you get when you order pho. First of all, I love pho.
Yes.
I love pho because they give you the biggest bowl of your life. And if you haven't had pho, it's a Vietnamese. I can't even call it a soup because pho is pho. Is that fair? It is. I feel like it's its own category.
Pho. Some people right now are going, actually, it's pronounced pho.
And they're right. And they're right.
You're right.
I'm not going to.
If you don't mind, we'll say pho.
PHO.
Yes.
With a marker on the O of some sort. I think it's almost looks like a tilde, but I'm not going to say it's a tilde because clearly it's not Spanish. But you get what I'm saying. Anyways, if you haven't had pho, have pho. When you're feeling under the weather, a little pho will do it.
Light you right up. Right up.
Have you been to Vietnam?
I have not been to Vietnam. That would be amazing.
We should go to Vietnam.
One of my favorite. go to Vietnam.
Just try the pho everywhere.
Just sweat and eat.
Yeah.
That would pretty much describe our vacation.
Yeah.
Sweating and eating.
Oh man, sweat and eat. That's a new
Sweat and eat.
That's
Podcast Eat and Sweat. Podcast Eat and Sweat. Oh my God.
All right. Anyways, as we mentioned before, Happy New Year to all our listeners.
We hope you eat and sweat this year a little bit. I mean, those are both great, healthy things to do, especially if you're doing them in tandem.
Sure.
And we got a great year planned, as Marco mentioned, a lot of great guests, and hopefully introducing you to ingredients you don't know about, or if you know about them, you haven't been in touch with them in a long time, and it like lights up some memories, or it's stuff you eat every day, and you're like, finally, this thing is out there and on it. People are on board with it. Yeah.
We're going to interview chefs. We're going to talk about the food scene in different places, in particular in the home city where we live is Toronto. We're going to talk to chefs here, and we're going to talk to people in all aspects of cuisine, I guess you could say.
I can't wait.
And cocktailing.
And if you have made a resolution to be a decent human being this year, give us 5 stars. Give us a like, give us 5 stars, leave a comment, and our resolution is to be more engaged with our listeners. It isn't, but I just made that up.
I love it. I
think we were already engaged.
And one last thing I will say is if you're going to send an email to us at podcasteatdrink@gmail.com with a suggestion for what's in Marco's mouth, please put that in the subject line so I don't accidentally look at it.
Yes.
That way Ali will make sure that he...
For Ali's eyes only could be the subject, if you like.
One of my favorite James Bond movies. For Your Eyes Only is my favorite.
I thought you were... Yes, of course.
No, sincerely and truly.
Yes. Okay, good.
I'm a Roger Moore kind of guy.
That's a whole other podcast
That's true.
there. Roger Moore, there's like 5 of you out there in the world. That's your favorite Bond?
It is. Who's yours?
Well, obviously Sean Connery. Obviously.
I feel like he's
So
the one you
slick
pick when
and
you just want to...
sexy.
Really?
Come on. No, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
Roger Moore. Roger Moore knew how to use the gadgets better. I feel like it was a little bit more... All right, we're going to disagree on that. We agree on spaghetti squash, but on our bonds.
You can't agree on everything.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening. Are you going to say your tagline?
Until we eat again.
I might keep that in.
We hope you got your fill of Eat and Drink with Ali Hassan and Marco Timpano. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Podcast Eat Drink. Email them your cocktail and food suggestions to podcasteatdrink@gmail.com. Until the next episode, bottoms up.